Good afternoon, and I'd like to call the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners regular agenda session on May 8, 2025 to order. Before we get started, just want to, Vice Chairwoman Jones will not be here tonight. She's at a loss, or today, a loss to her family members. Just want to send down our thoughts and prayers to her, and I know our board has already shared that with her, and we look forward to having her back with us and we're thinking about her during this time. Also, I would like to take a moment and recognize two powerhouses that help this Board of Commissioners every day. It is County Clerks Week in the county, so Ms. Tebby and Ms. Clark, we appreciate you both for everything that you do, for all the crazy emails that we send you, all the crazy phone calls, but for keeping us straight all the time. We really appreciate you. This place works because of you, and we thank you for that. And at this time, we'll move to the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance, and I would ask Commissioner Council to lead us in the invocation. Okay. You can sit and lead it if you like.
Lord, I didn't plan it to be this way. Heavenly Father, we come before you to plan to do the business of the county. We ask your blessings upon all of us as we, and especially the one that is grieving at this point. Keep us together. Keep us ever mindful of the duties of our board. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I need an announcement, please.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Council, you have the floor.
Okay. I never had a cat growing up. But the cat that I fed was a girl cat, and she had kittens last night. Not last night, night before last. I have 3 baby kittens and a mama cat walking around my house. It's not nice. So if anybody wants them, I hate to take them to the shelter. But the cat jumps on my bed, and the kittens, I don't know what they are. They look just like the mama. But they're in my den right now.
We'll connect you to Assistant County Manager Phillips.
Animal Services will be on the case.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry.
Thank you, Commissioner Council. We'll go ahead and move to item 1, approval of the agenda. County Manager Greer, any changes?
No, Chairman DeVere, there are no changes to the agenda.
No closed session, correct?
No closed session.
We'll go ahead and move to item 2, I'd ask for a motion for approval of the agenda.
So,
Second.
I move approval.
The motion to approve the agenda has been properly seconded. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Unanimous.
Go ahead and move to item 2, consideration of agenda items. Short-term solution for sheltering. County Manager Greer.
Yes, due to the recent closure of Salvation Army, staff came up with some options for a short-term solution to help those the unhoused. Heather Skeens, Assistant County Manager, will present this item and discuss any questions you may have. Heather.
Thank you. So good afternoon, Commissioners. As the manager stated, Salvation Army had an immediate closure of their shelter on April 15th. Due to this closure, our county has currently come up with a short-term solution for the loss of those 50 to 60 beds in our community. Currently, Manna has 20 to 22 beds, and that is a men's shelter only. And the only other emergency shelter we have in our community right now is our CARE Domestic Violence Center, which only houses women who, and women and children who have been involved in a domestic violence situation. The closure of the Salvation Army has left a gap in our shelter beds here in our community. This plan is a short-term solution to the loss of these beds and provides time for us to evaluate immediate solutions or intermediate solutions. Due to the complexities of our unhoused community and ensuring that we are addressing safety measures, I recommend the following two options for sheltering. We have a valued White Flag partner who, for the last 2 years, has provided services for us that we have a contract with. They have the capacity of 50 beds. They are willing to operate Monday through Friday. Because they are a faith-based institution, they need Saturday and Sunday for their services. They're willing to offer this at a $100 flat rate per person. We would use this as the men's shelter. Because of the way they're set up, it would be hard to place women and or families with children in that space also. We've also reached out to several hotels and have a preliminary confirmation of room availability. These rooms would be used for families and single women. The cost is dependent on the hotel, and we could reserve a block of rooms in the hotel so that we have a commitment to ensure that we have some bed availability. Between these two solutions, this creates an immediate need and addresses our immediate need for shelter or lack of shelter in the community. This would replace the 60 beds that we've lost and have the potential for additional beds if needed and funding is available. Community development currently has about $148,546 in funds between several programs that we could use towards this immediate sheltering needs. However, we would need an additional approximately $306,454 to cover 3 months of a shelter plan while we look for intermediate solutions over the next 3 months. We could implement this plan as early as next week if we needed to, but certainly anytime the commissioners approve if we move forward with a short-term solution. So we are recommending that you approve the temporary shelter plan for 3 months and requesting that the item be placed on the consent agenda at May 19th meeting and authorize the county manager to contract for temporary emergency sheltering. So I'll certainly answer any questions.
Commissioners, open it up for questions or comments. Commissioner Tyson.
Thank you. Did the Operation Inasmuch shelter close?
They are not an emergency shelter. They offer long-term sheltering, but they don't do emergency placements.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions, commissioners? Couple just comments. Thank you first for staff, county manager, and your staff for putting together kind of the short-term need, unexpected from the Salvation Army. We know we're already at a deficit for beds in our community. I mean, that dates back to 2022 when the survey was done. And so with the Salvation Army closing no notice, we know that puts us at an even more deficit. And I appreciate the concern around women and families and not having shelter for them. Understand that you're able to move this and put this in place quickly, correct?
That's correct.
And then you'll have 90 days and we would look at an interim solution because our ultimate long-term solution is to have a shelter in place. But we would then use this 90 days to find an interim solution and understand we have tried to have some dialogue with the Salvation Army, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Commissioner Tyson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One other question. Have we been engaged in conversations with the Salvation Army about coming up with a more permanent solution for the existing facility that they have?
Yes, we have.
Have those bore any fruit?
Not yet.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I think part of, Commissioner Faircloth, go ahead.
I just have a comment. Why is this all of a sudden in the county's radar? Was the Salvation Army operated an emergency shelter, is that correct?
That is
And
correct.
they closed theirs, is that correct?
That's correct.
How did it come to the county to pick it up? I don't know, not understanding I don't understand what the agreement is, or if there is any.
We, both Heather and myself, have experience in emergency shelter needs, and going through talking about this, we thought one of the better options to help serve the community would be to go and do what we similarly did with COVID and had a hotel for temporary shelter. We reached out to other parties and partners throughout the county, and really didn't have the capacity to serve the needs of the community. So I'll take the hit for it, because again, I was more concerned about the immediate need and seeing some of the things I saw riding through the community as far as homeless being displaced and not being addressed. Probably need to have a follow-up conversation after the meeting, but it just kind of concerned me and Heather both, and we just said we knew it'd be better to try to do something if we could.
And Commissioner Faircloth, I'll also add to that as well. I think, previous boards and even as a body had identified that there is a responsibility to fulfill the need for shelter space within this community. Back in 2022, it was identified that it was short about 120 beds. That's where the unhoused project came from and came out of. That's been moving since 2023. I think with the shortage that we immediately see with the Salvation Army, I think there was a need to fill that gap as a Health and Human Services agency. I think there's a role. I believe there's a role for the county there. And especially as we're moving forward towards the unhoused, which is a permanent long-term solution with the support center, there has to be a short-term goal. When we have families and women in this community that don't have a shelter over their head, then I think there's a cause for government to step in. That's my personal opinion. You follow up, go ahead.
Well, okay, it looks like we're taking it on for a short term of 2 months at a cost of $200,000 a month. If we take it on for a year, is that going to be still be $200,000 a month, or are we even thinking about going beyond 2 months?
This is just short term, no more than 90 days. We will have to engage other partners, and hopefully at the start of the new fiscal year, Salvation Army will have new leadership, and they will reopen and reestablish their services. If not, as I requested, there are other options that I would like to pursue with Salvation Army to provide make sure we have these services in the community.
And Commissioner Faircloth, just to clarify, when I submitted the Novus agenda cover sheet, our White Flag partner was only agreeing to 2 months. Since that time, they have agreed to add an additional month onto that plan to give us time.
Okay, so I didn't read it wrong.
No.
I just didn't know that. Okay.
Any other comments or questions, commissioners? Hearing none, entertain, Commissioner Tyson.
Thank you. So, Mr. Manager, what I'm seeing is that we've got the part of the funds here that we've already got allocated, that we have available for use through our White Flag program or whatnot, and getting into the summer season, understanding that heat is just as big of a concern as cold temperatures with this population. So in understanding that the 251 that you're requesting over and above what's already allocated would actually come from an alternate funding source and not come straight out of the general fund, correct?
Correct.
Any other questions, comments, commissioners? Hearing none, I entertain a motion.
I'd like to, thank our county management team for working hard to get this solution. I know this was a surprise to the community, and I think the buck eventually stops with the county to take care of health and safety. So with that, I'll make the motion to authorize the county manager to contract for a short-term solution and sheltering not to exceed $400,000 and place this item on the consent agenda for our May 19th regular Board of Commissioners meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second that with a friendly amendment, if that's okay. That we allocate the 251, 454 out of the ARP general fund assigned fund balance, and that the remaining money comes from the available funds that we already have on hand.
I'll accept that. A motion on the floor with friendly amendment that's been accepted. I'll open it up for discussion. Commissioner Adams?
I've got a friendly amendment if you would take it. Because that we allow staff to go ahead and move forward. Because if we're going to wait to May 19th, if they say they can start it next week, if we have to wait to May 19th to have a vote, that doesn't make sense. So if you would, I guess it's going to the consent agenda because we'll all agree to it that they can start the implementation process at least prior to. If you take that.
What you want to
Right. Mm-hmm.
Do we want to move it to a consent or do you just want to approve it today?
Well, I think you ought to, for me, approve it today because that allows them to go ahead and move forward. It's going to rain this weekend. It's been 3.54 inches, if I got it right. And so I don't think waiting until May 19th, if this is an emergency type thing, doesn't, yeah, so.
Our budget ordinance is a little bit dated.
Okay.
We can have that forward on Monday. And it'll be Monday. We're not going to be able to contract before the weekend.
We have existing funds, so we will quietly move forward.
Okay, gotcha.
And Mr. Chairman, just as a follow-up, and rightfully so, our vice chair isn't here today, and I would welcome her to have some input into this as well, so that I would say for my second, I would want to keep it for the 19th.
But for the staff to go ahead and begin informally moving
Yeah,
forward.
using the available funds, that's fine. But just in terms of the vote, I would like the vice chair to be able to weigh in on this,
Okay.
on the 19th.
Commissioner
That's
Patel?
expected. Oh,
Like I said, we will go ahead and move forward with the existing funds if that's good, Commissioner Adams. As of today.
Yeah, that was my friendly, yeah.
Okay. So we got two friendly amendments. Both have been accepted. Commissioner Council, did you have a comment?
I'm okay.
Okay, great. Hearing no other comments, I'll ask for your vote. All in favor of the amendment with the motion with two friendly amendments, raise your right hand.
Unanimous.
Thank you, commissioners. I think this is the right step for this organization and is filling a need within an immediate need within our community as we continue to look forward towards a permanent solution. So thank you. Item B, potential purchase, use of Lillian Black Elementary School. County Manager Greer.
Yes, give me one quick second. On the meeting, most recent meeting close, we talked about the letter we received, I received, that's in the packet from Cumberland County Schools regarding Lillian Black Elementary School and the board's appetite of wanting to purchase it. My request or my recommendation is that we decline the offer. I'm going to provide some information and then we'll get further guidance and decisions from you. When I talked with Dr. Connolly, when the elementary school was open, the building maintenance or the annual cost was ranged from $52,000 to $66,000 per year. And
She can't hear you.
okay.
I can't. here, I'm sorry.
Okay. The annual maintenance for the building was $52,000. It ranged from $52,000 to $66,000 per year. The school was actually opened in 1938, so we don't. I went back and searched. Did not know the actual funding rules for county versus city versus school system at that time. Could not find it. And then they had an appraisal, and the appraisal was done approximately a year ago, and the appraised value was $780,000 for the, and I'm gonna give a caveat on that. And so on the appraisal, it was prepared back on, well, really a little bit, almost a year and a half ago, September 14th, and the value of the property, as I said, was $780,000. A couple of things about the property. They said it was it needed a lot of work. It's very dated and under-maintained. Window units, air quality issues, cafeteria is not suitable. Electrical, mechanical, and technology systems appear to be outdated. Ceiling height not conducive to climate control. Outdoor spaces are substandard. Outside is security fencing perimeter. Significantly undersized in the classrooms. And the parking is a two-way public street and subject to unsafe conditions. There's several code deficiencies also with the building. And I'll get to the meat of the recommendation. But basically the building is a tear down. The value assigned for $780,000 is for the land only. The building itself, or the building itself, would really have to be torn down and reconverted and reconstructed into a different, either commercial, residential, or light industrial use. It could be residential, it's zone R6, and it could be residential, school, or church uses. They say the highest and best use for the subject property is to raise the and make it a raised building and use it for multifamily development purposes. And we have it on our tax rolls as the most recent revaluation at $1.5 million. And so my request is that I work with the school system and/or Spring Lake to come up with a price that we can come back and bring to the board and make a recommendation on, if it's your appetite that we move forward with trying to procure this property. Again, like I said, the building is basically a tear down.
And so let me make sure, County Manager, understood your recommendation to us is?
Let me, let's really decline the $750, but come up with a workable price with the school system, town of Spring Lake, and myself, that we can bring back and make a recommendation. It would be my recommendation if you all do decide for us to purchase it, that we split it at least with the town of Spring Lake on an equitable basis.
And just as a point of clarification, I'll come to you, Commissioner Tyson. So in the letter from the school board, there wasn't another offer to purchase. They were inquiring about, based on a new board with them, a new board from us, so they did not, we've already declined the $750 offer once. This letter from them was, correct me if I'm wrong, County Manager, was more of to see if we wanted to engage again, and I think that's what you're asking
Right.
to do. So we're not declining an offer.
It's just that
we already have.
Yeah, we already have. Basically, I'd like to work with the three parties to see if we come up with a workable solution.
Commissioner Tyson, you recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just two quick questions. One, and you may have kind of covered this, has there been any official action taken by the town in terms of any potential desire to move forward with?
Not that I'm aware of. I would have to reach out to them and find out. I haven't received any notification from the town of Spring Lake.
And then second, I know you had mentioned several of the maintenance deficiencies. Were those noted in the infrastructure assessment that the school gave us, or is this a separate assessment?
This is part of the appraisal that they had. It wasn't even in the separate assessment for the school system facility study.
Any other comments or questions on this item? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion. Commissioner Tyson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just move that we direct the county manager to continue to engage with the school and the town on potential uses for the school. See if we can reach a better consensus on price as he suggested before making a final decision on the offer.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion on the floor, been properly seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Unanimous.
All right, and I hope to bring this back, probably the agenda session in June at the latest.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to item 3. There's no other items of business. We'll move to the monthly reports. Item 4, County Manager, if you want to introduce the monthly reports.
Yes, the monthly report, the first one is the financial report through the month of April 30th, 2025. March, I'm sorry. April's in my head, I'm sorry. And I wanted to find out if there were any questions regarding that.
Commissioners, any questions on the financial report? Hearing none, go ahead, County Manager Greer, to the next one.
Yes, and I'd like to also say before I go over item B, these were presented in the Finance Committee also. The ARPA quarterly project and expenditure report as of March 31st, 2025. We've already filed it. It was presented in Finance Committee. And also this is when keeps us in compliance with the report. Ty Valk, Chief of Staff, is here and he can answer any questions you may have.
Commissioners, any questions on the quarterly project and expenditure report? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move to item 4C.
Item 4C is the health insurance update. One caveat to that, or one additional item to that, regarding the employee health clinic, we reached out to Ed Boardman, USI. They should be providing us some additional information about the additional metrics you all requested, and we should be emailing that information to you the early to mid next week.
So originally we had moved that to the 19th.
Right.
So we're not going to have that information before it's presented back to us.
Yes, you will have it before it's presented back to you. The information regarding the annual review, certain metrics they plan, and in termination, we'll be providing that information by email prior to the meeting.
Okay.
Maybe I missed.
No, I'm just clarifying.
Okay.
Any questions on the health insurance update or additional information, Commissioners? Commissioner Tyson?
Will that include the intention of recommencing walk-in appointments?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions or comments? We'll move to item 4D.
4D is the WellPath quarterly statistical report for the inmate health care. Heather Skeens, Assistant County Manager, is here to answer any questions you have. But this report is submitted quarterly.
Any questions, Commissioners? Hearing none, we'll move to item 4E.
Last one that was presented at the Finance Committee meeting was the grants update. Robin, well, I don't see you, Lisa, but Faith Phillips is here to answer any questions you may have on the grants update.
Commissioner Tyson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Have we gotten any read on what the climate's going to be kind of at the federal level on some of the reoccurring grant programs and kind of the impact that we're going to have here locally?
So
I'll
that's
let
a,
Faith talk. Go ahead, Faith.
that's a great question, Commissioner Tyson. So one thing that we do on a every other week basis, if I'm not mistaken, is we meet with our federal lobbyists and we talk about trends that are at the federal level as far as grants and what we're looking for. Right now, it's trending where grants are being reviewed, and so there's not as many opportunities. But the last update we got is that there may be funds coming later. So we're really staying tuned to those opportunities.
Additionally, last week we had our weekly North Carolina Association of County Commissioners call. There's some concerns about the Medicaid funding and it being cut, along with community development being cut, or reimagined, or sent down to the states, and the states develop their own program. So if any one of those programs are cut at the federal level, it would drastically impact both our community development department and our social services department and public health. So we're watching those real closely as we move forward. Hopefully they stay intact as much as possible.
Commissioner Tyson, follow up.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Manager, is that some of the calculation you're taking into the budgeting process? And are we already anticipating that there's going to be requests from some of these agencies to kind of make up those potential shortfalls at the local level?
Yes, yes. And I will say if they materialize in the form that they currently are, we have a contingency plan for that too.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments, commissioners? I'll add a couple comments. So around the grants and just kind of at the federal level to Commissioner Tyson's question. Last couple of days spent in D.C. at an economic summit with Senator Tillerson and Representative Hudson, but also had an opportunity with our federal team to meet with the new White House Intergovernment Deputy Director. And so we got some input there also from Senator Tillerson's office and himself, as well as Congressman Hudson, as well as actually Congressman Davis as well. I spent some time with him as well. And what we're hearing is that the programs are being reviewed. So as you can imagine, there's multiple. This administration is taking an approach that they're evaluating and reviewing all the programs. That doesn't mean that the programs are going to be cut. It means they're going to review them, and then we will probably see, in an August, September timeframe, you're going to see that money begin to open back up. There'll also be additional items and potentially other opportunities out there as well. So and as far as some of the block grants, I think that's a key point, that some of these items are going to be pushed down to the state level or repurposed in a different way through potentially a different agency. There is still a concern around Medicaid. If you follow the budget process and the president's budget that he's laid out, there's some things around the HAS dollars, the dollars that come down to offset some of the Medicaid costs. That there's no final decision on that. Both the Senate and the House have different positions on that, is what we were told this weekend. So I know our staff's staying connected, but that's kind of the information that we gleaned over the last couple of days, and some really good conversations with not just myself, but members from across the community, from the city and the economic development side, chamber side, et cetera. Any other comments or questions on item 4, monthly reports? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move forward to item 5, commissioner request. Item A, demolition of improvements on the property located at and known as the Coliseum Inn at 2507 Gillespie Street. I'll go ahead and Commissioner Tyson, you put this on the agenda, so I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the genesis of this obviously has to do with some of the public conversation that we had at some of our previous meetings and some of the concerns about this structure. So to that end, I had requested that the Sheriff's Office give us an update on where they were with the action that they've taken. And you'll see that they provided a memorandum to us in your packet. I've also asked if the county attorney can provide us a brief of kind of where this is and to provide us some more information. With your permission, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it over to him.
Attorney Moorfield.
We filed a motion to enforce the order sometime back. The hearing has been set for June 30th. That was the earliest date we could get on the regular calendar for Judge Ammons, and Judge Ammons heard this matter to begin with, so I wanted to keep it there. We think we've gotten everybody served. It was owned by an LLC that's been dissolved, and there are about 9 people involved with that. It had a deed of trust on it by another LLC that's been dissolved, and it had about 6 or 7 people with it. We believe we have gotten everybody noticed, and a few of them had an attorney who says he is going to withdraw from the case, but we did get, I know we got notice on them, but we got it to the attorney. So we've done all we can do to move it forward. The outcome of this is, everybody's got to remember, this was done when it was an operating business, and it was done by an investigation brought by ALE, the Alcohol Law Enforcement, under a specific chapter in the general statutes that is for the abatement of criminal activity on properties, and that's what this was all about. You know, that was done. It was shut down. They actually started. Well, they claim they started demolishing it. All I have seen as far as real demolition was they had knocked out the walls of a building on the two sides. The building was behind the office building, and they took all the doors out of the rest of the structures that had the motel rooms, and it looks terrible. But we're asking the judge to order them to either secure it or demolish it, and Judge Ammons may very well do that. But we are we're proceeding with it with what we've got in terms of the best way to go about it. I mean, if he doesn't, or if they don't agree to demolish it, then if he orders it, there is no authority to demolish it by this statute. It would have to go through the judge can order to be forwarded to the school board. That would take an agreement between the county and the school board. But I mean, that's just the way this plays out. Instead of that, we are also having to talk to the code enforcement about starting a separate action under the our minimum housing code now, which has an structures provision in it. So we're trying to go place.
Mr. Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know the chairman knows all too well about nuisance structures, especially in your prior service in the city council. And I would just suggest that, and I've talked to the attorney about this, that from the code enforcement aspect, we look towards demolition by neglect because it's failing to meet the current building code. And this is something that the community has brought to our attention. It's something that's an eyesore if you rode by the property. And I just want to make sure that this board's continuing to make this a priority. And one of the things I would ask is that we continue to receive regular briefings on this until the abatement action concludes. And I'll turn the floor back over to anybody else who has questions or comments, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Commissioner Adams, you recognize.
I guess I would ask the question, and I think Commissioner Fairclough might have been here. It was before I got here, before most of us got here. Y'all did a business overlay out there, and so in that business overlay is probably that you can't build it back up or do anything if it's over half damage. Have we even looked at the business overlay part and what they actually overlay out there?
To go that sort of route, we just have to do an action in Superior Court, and that's how we've had to do a couple of these, and we've been lucky in getting pretty quick results from the judges and those we've done, but we won't always be so lucky.
Any other comments, questions on this? Real quick, just so I understood it. So code enforcement is beginning their process in this.
And Mr. Chairman, in response to Commissioner Tyson's thing about it would be, from a legal perspective, it'd be better if I just give you guys an update by email rather than doing this in a public meeting, because everything is televised and what we say can be used against us. So let me just do an email update about every 2 weeks. That'll be fine.
We just want to keep it on the radar screen, so that's fine.
Mr. Chairman, do we need a motion to kind of codify that, or?
I think staff, we give staff direction. I don't think we need a motion around it. I would just direct that we get, there's an action already happening, code enforcement's already moving, just direct the county attorney to provide updates by email every couple of weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. We'll move to item 6, closed session. There is not a closed session, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman.
Sorry, Commissioner Adams.
No, that's I just want to, and I know that this board, so I think we ought to do it out that Major Tanger Adams over at the Sheriff's Department passed away, and we want to send condolences to her family. And Mr. James Gist over at the Department of Social Services, which was also one of our employees. passed away, and so we want to send condolences to his family also. I think that's just so that.
Commissioner Adams, we did that at the last meeting. I spoke at the last
Right.
meeting, and we've got correspondence going out to both of them already. It was already done.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may add to that, we are also going to present a board proclamation on the 19th to the family of Major Adams, as well as the sheriff will be here at the meeting on the 19th as well.
And we're awaiting further updates on any arrangements.
Oh, they were out. That's what I was.
Yeah.
That was. They've already been
Right.
released.
Right. Any other points of personal privilege, commissioners? Commissioner Feckley?
Just a quick one. I was talking with Anita at the hospital yesterday, and she was kind of wondering when, she knows that we appointed some people to the hospital board, but when does the term begin, when does it end? And I'm not sure if our policy has been changed, anything about that. Andrea, did you get my memo on that?
I'm sorry,
I sent you an email yesterday about the,
I have not seen that. I'll look for it.
okay. But anyway, I was wondering if policy committee or anybody had acted on, since we changed the way we nominate and appoint people to boards and commissions, if we have changed when the terms begin and end. So that's Anita brought the question to me, and I just bringing it up
So
because I didn't know the answer.
To address that, the only thing that changed is the timing of when it happens. So it happens in April and November. Their terms are still on the terms that they were, if they rolled off in March or they rolled off in May or June, that term is still the same. So notices would go out on the date that their term would expire. I don't know the term off the top of my head for the hospital boards, but those terms should stay the same. I'm pretty sure they're the end of March though, so they would, or end of April. So those terms would go out and those new board members would get seated. But after the process, correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Clerk, you notify everybody, because I know I was at a meeting this morning where 2 new board members were there. So
Yes, I was preparing letters that will be signed by chairman that will go out, and she's also notified the liaisons with the information.
okay. So we'll make sure the hospital is updated on the date that those 2 board members should have rotated off in March or April. I don't know off the top of my head.
Probably closer to February.
Or February. Any other points of personal privilege? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor, raise your right hand. And we're adjourned.